Do you know another way to say I think? That's fine when you're at a beginner level, but if you want to improve your English fluency, you should learn different ways to say I think. I'm your English teacher Kay with ISpeakSpokeSpoken, and in this video we will go over different ways to say I think so that you sound like a more fluent English speaker. Let's jump into the video. Number 1, in my opinion. Instead of saying I think, you can say in my opinion. It's slightly more formal, so this is a great expression to use in settings such as at work or at university when you're speaking with your professor. Instead of saying I think this is a good idea, you can say in my opinion, this is a good idea. Number 2, from my perspective. This is a great, more professional sounding expression to use instead of I think, and it's used to highlight what you're saying. For example, from my perspective, the new policy will benefit the company. And here we have the phonetic transcription, which we include so that you can really make sure that your pronunciation is proper. We put the apostrophe here to show where the stress is. Perspective, perspective. Once again, perspective. Very good. Number 3, I believe. We use this expression instead of I think to really show that we have a strong connection with the opinion that we're about to share. For example, I believe that everyone deserves a second chance. This is a strong conviction or a personally held value. And make sure that when you pronounce believe, as you can see from the apostrophe here, we stress the second syllable. Believe, believe. Number 4, it seems to me. This is an expression to use instead of I think when you're sharing an opinion that you're not quite certain about. For example, it seems to me that the weather is getting warmer each year. This is an opinion, and again, it might not be something that you're so sure of, and instead of saying I think, you can say it seems to me. Number 5, as far as I'm concerned. This is one of my personal favorites I like to use quite often, and again, this is sharing your opinion about something, and it sounds much better than simply saying I think. For example, as far as I'm concerned, the project should start next week. Remember when we pronounce this word, we don't say the L. Practice with me. Should. Should. Very good. And a tip that I would like to share is try making your own sentences with these expressions. Put them in the comment box down below and I'll help you with any corrections and any questions that you might have. Number 6, in my view. This one is similar to in my opinion, but from my perspective, this one sounds a bit better. For example, in my view, the movie was quite disappointing. Again, you're sharing your opinion about something and it sounds much better, much more proficient than simply saying I think. Number 7, to my mind. This is an expression that you will often hear in more academic or perhaps abstract contexts, maybe at university, and it does sound better than saying I think, and it is slightly less common, but it's still an important expression to know. For example, to my mind, the solution we proposed is the best one. And let's double check our pronunciation. Proposed, we stress the second syllable. Proposed, proposed. Number 8, I am convinced. This is used to show that you have a really strong opinion about something, and you can use it, for example, like this. I am convinced that we will achieve our goals. And remember here, when we pronounce convinced, we stress the second syllable. Convinced, convinced. Once again, convinced. Remember that you can download the slides by clicking here, and you can take a free quiz at the end to make sure that you have learned all of the expressions to say instead of I think. You can also click on the link in the description box down below. Don't forget to leave any comments or questions for me. Number 9, I reckon. This expression is used more often in certain regions of the United States, but it's still an important expression to know that you can use instead of saying I think. This is less formal and less professional sounding, but it's still perfectly appropriate to use in many casual conversations. For example, I reckon we should leave early to avoid traffic. This is probably something you would say to a friend or a relative. And when we pronounce reckon, we stress the first syllable. We always put the phonetic transcriptions here for important words that you can go back and review pronunciation. Say it with me. Reckon, reckon. Very good. Number 10, if you ask me. This may sound quite polite, but the meaning behind this expression is more like, I have an opinion I really want to share. Even though you haven't asked me, if you ask me, I would give you my opinion straight away. For example, if you ask me, the food at the restaurant is amazing. It means I have an opinion that I must share. You didn't ask for it. If you did, this is what I want to tell you. Number 11, my view is that. This is similar to in my view, and again, this is used in more formal scenarios, especially in written English. For example, my view is that the policy needs to be revised. Once again, I encourage you to write your own sentences using these expressions and leave them for me in the comments below. Number 12, I feel. This is a less formal expression to use instead of I think, but it's very common and you will hear it all the time, and I highly recommend trying to practice using this in your own conversations. For example, I feel that we need to improve our customer service. Once again, it's sharing an opinion, and this is great for use in everyday English. From all of these expressions to use instead of I think, I highly encourage you to pick your top 3 and use them. We've given you pronunciation and examples. All of these resources are here for you to use to improve your English. You don't need to memorize every single one because in the end, it might be too overwhelming for your English studies. So again, pick your top 3, your favorites, and practice using them. Once again, my name is Kay with ISpeakSpokeSpoken. It's been great teaching you today, and I'll see you next time. Bye.